सदाशिवसमारम्भां व्यासशङ्करमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। चैतन्यं सर्वगं सर्वं सर्वभूतगुहाशयं यत्सर्वविषयातीतं तस्मै सर्वविधे नमः। I think we are in verse number 4. We have seen verse number 3 in the last class. So verse number 4, I'll just give you a brief introduction, then we go into this. In verse number 4, the idea of Mandukya Upanishad is brought here. As I told you, Upanishad Sahasri is a collection of all the Vedantic statements from different Upanishads. So it is more like a culmination of knowledge, and essentially we are studying different Upanishads or sections of the Upanishad at different times. Some quotations from here and there are quoted. So here also the Mandukya Upanishad being quoted here. Aham Advayaha Turiya Asmi. That is Aham Advayam, non-dual, Turiya Asmi. So Turiyam is the fourth state. So we have three states of experience. We have the waking state, dream state, and deep sleep state. Correct? But the Chaitanyam which you talked about is called a Turiya. And Turiyam itself is not a state. It is the Atma, the Sakshi, which is distinct from all three states of experience. Right? So the Chaitanyam, when it gets associated with Sthula Shariram, it is called Vishwaha. It's called Vishwaha. So you refer to the Tribdishiveka. So Chaitanyam, when associated with Sthula Shariram, it's called Vishwaha. And the same consciousness, Chaitanyam, when associated with Sukshma Shariram, it becomes Tejasaha. And the consciousness, Chaitanyam, associated with Karana Shariram becomes Pragyaha. So Vishwaha, Tejasaha, Pragyaha. So Tejasa is Sthula Shariram, then Vishwaha is Sthula Shariram, then Tejasaha is Sukshma Shariram, and then we have the Karana Shariram, which is called the Pragyaha. So, who are these? Basically, all these three, Pragya, Vishwaha, and Tejasaha, they are all names. They are all different states of experience or different manifestation of the same consciousness associated with different states of experience. Right? But the consciousness is only one. There is no three different states. And in all these three states, there is some amount of pollution or some impurities up there. So there is a objection raised by, or not objection, it is actually a question raised by the Purva Paksha, saying that Chaitanyam is actually, you say it is free from all impurities. But the Chaitanyam you say is associated with the Sthula Shariram, Sukshma and Karana Shariram, gets the different names and it enjoys the experience. So don't you think that by the consciousness, the association becomes polluted? So this is the, it is like, when you say, you got a new dress and if you are at home, not going anywhere, not then the dress will be new and it will be as it is. But the moment you go out, the new dress, there will be some dust here and there will come, there will be sweat, there will be something there. Right? So he says the same way, the Purva Paksha is saying that the consciousness for them is something they cannot accept. They can never accept the fact that the Turiyam is a state of experience, or Turiyam is something which is different from all the three states of experience. They say Turiyam also consciousness, when it associated with these three states of experience, it also gets polluted, it can get polluted. So we feel that Chaitanyam also can get, impurities. This is the objection. Objection means just a question. So the Acharya says it is not, because you cannot experience consciousness, number one. Because consciousness is something which cannot be experienced. It is, the experience itself is consciousness. See, consciousness is not an experience, and every experience is consciousness. You have to understand this, correct? See, consciousness is not experience, but every experience which is there in the waking state, dream state, and deep sleep state is none other than consciousness. So you're already experiencing consciousness, and there's no need for you to search for consciousness. Right? But this consciousness which is there, or the Chaitanya which is there, it is in the form of Turiyam, which is non-describable. One does not know how it is. Right? So you cannot describe that it is like this or it is like this, because in deep sleep state there is nothing called experience. But there is an experience without knowing there is an experience. Is that correct? There is an experience of sleeping without knowing you are sleeping. How do you know this? This is because when you wake up in the morning, you are able to clearly say that I slept well or I didn't sleep well. Every person can very clearly categorize the same. If you wake up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon at night, go for a drive, go for having a glass of water, or you want to go to the bathroom, at that time you are awake. And you know that you are awake also. And you slept for 3 hours or 3.5 hours, and suddenly you are woken up. Again, you go to sleep. There's a transition time between again going to sleep and deep sleep. So you know that you are doing different to sleep. And then finally, you do not know. In the morning, you wake up at 6 o'clock or 7:30 sometimes. So all these three are known to you, correct? So the Purva Pakshi wants to say that I, in my original form, may be free from experiences. Okay, may be free from experiences, but the same I, when get associated with this, Vishwaha, Tejasa, and Pragyaha, it becomes Ashuddham, or it becomes, impure. So the Acharya says it is not like this, because the Turiya is just a state, and it just plays three roles. That's all it is. It is a role play. It doesn't do anything at all. It just reflects. It just manifests itself in different states of experience. It does not get affected by what is happening in dream state. Right? In deep state also, it doesn't get affected. Right? So there is no. That is why in the dream state also, the body, the Sthula Shariram does not do anything. Right? The Sthulam is actually very silent. See, in dream state, your Sukshvam is active, right? Sthulam is not doing anything. So it's possible that your dreams may be having different connotations and how it is there. And it's possible that that dream may be not correct or maybe polluted. But the body itself is not doing anything. It cannot be polluted because it is not doing the action. Same way, in the deep sleep state also, there is no Sukshmam, there is no Sthulam also, correct? So there is no question of getting anything, tainted. That's what it says here. There is no Raga Dveshaha, there is no Kamam, there is no Krodham. It will not come to Turiyam. Turiyam will not get affected by anything. It is only when I take the role of Pragya, I get a feeling that I am Ashuddha. I get a feeling that I am actually something, finite. But in reality, we are all infinite. That's what it says here. Right? So these are all adhyasaha or confusion. They are all adhyasam or superimposition, confusion. So Jagrat Avastha Vishaya is also adhyasa. Swapna Avastham also is adhyasa. But I am nirvishesham, nirvishaya. That means consciousness is nirvishaya. It doesn't have any subject, it doesn't have an object. It doesn't have anything to do with any vishaya. So therefore, that's what it says here, that this is described as 3 states of experience. So we look, with this introduction, we look at this mantra. Shushupta Jagrastva Patascha Darshanam. Shushupta Jagrastva Patascha Darshanam. Namesti Kinchit Swamiheva Mohanam. Namesti Kinchit Swamiheva Mohanam. Swatascha Tesham Parataf Api Asatvaha. Swatascha Tesham Parataf Api Asatva. Turiya Evasmi Sadadrik Advayaha. So, Shushupta Jagras Swapatascha. That means Shushupti means deep sleep state. Jagrat means the waking state. And Swapatascha means Swapna. So, Swapatascha means Swapna. So, and, cha means and. So, in all the 3 of experience, Darshanam means perceptions. So, Darshanam means perceptions or any objects which are seen or anything which is enjoyed. Name asti. They do not belong to me. So, anything which is experienced in deep sleep state, anything which is experienced in dream state, anything experienced in waking state, even now what experiencing, it is not me. What it says is, this is not my true nature. It is only a projection. Because I am, the moment when I say that I'm experiencing, then the experiencing is an object of knowledge. And the object of knowledge is finite. Right? So naturally, when you get associated with an object of knowledge, you also become finite. Then you start to think that this object will not last for long. Correct? So that's why the author says that you must distance yourself, saying that yes, it is an experience. I am enjoying this world, but this world is not absolutely real. It is infinitely real or relatively real. So it's called Vyavarika Satta and Paramatika Satta. So you have to all remember all the Divya everything else. That's why. So Vyavaharika Satta means what? Transactional overlordship. And Paramarika Satta means complete overlordship of the self. So these two are different, and these two are different order of reality. They never meet together. So Paramarthikam will always be Satyam, and the Vyavaharika will always be Mithya. It will always be not the truth. It will be Satyam. That's what it says here, that Darshanam means any objects of perception, any perception which I have in waking state. So if I'm experiencing an object, if I'm going to this picture, this movie, this relationship, enjoying the company of my children, of any movie or anything what you do, it is not the truth. It is not a permanent happiness. It is only going to last for a limited amount of time. We all know about it. Right? So we cannot be keeping on talking to somebody for a long time. We cannot expect that the person will be available for a lengthy period of time also. Even though they will be children also, they also have to go to sleep. So they may not be available for next 2 days. Suddenly after say 6 months, they will say, I'm going out. Then what will you do? So all these are about, they are all subject to change, subject to modification, vikara, and they are called vishaya. Right? So Savishesha Brahma. But whereas I am Nirvishesha Brahma. So Savishesham Brahma means anything which is objects of experience. Yesterday in the class also I explained to you that a mumukshu should be free from all these sort of desires. So Vitrishna. Yesterday there's a word in the Kathopanishad. Vitrishna. Trishna means the free from desires. Trishna means desire. Vitrishna means free from desires. Desire from what? Desire from any immediate perception of knowledge, any immediate expectation of results which is seen, which is experienced. Example, putram, property, money, etc. They are seen perceptions. Also, anushravika. Anushravika also is, so drishyam and anushravika. So drashta, anushravika, two things are discussed. So drashta, same thing here also. Darshanam is same thing, drashta, anything which is seen, perception. Anushravika, in yesterday's class explained to you that anything which is not perceptible, which cannot be seen. Example, going to Sargalokam, or I am doing this for for getting some Putra Kamishti Yagam. You do not know whether you are going to get or not. So all these are imperceptible experiences, imperceptible expectation, and a mukshu should not have either of them. Or a jignasu or a mukshu who is pursuing knowledge must be free from both these types of experiences. That's why it says here, name asti. So I am not any of this, or they do not belong to me. Kinchit swam iva iha mohanam. So these are like, so mohanam, when you say, they are delusion. So mohanam means delusion. So mohanam means very attractive. It looks very good, but it is not the truth. See, another thing we have to understand is when you talk to somebody, you must not see through him or her and tell that you are just an image. You must not talk like this. You see the person, you talk to the person just as what you do normally. But at the same time, in your own mind, cognitively, we understand that this is not the, this is only a transactional view, and I am actually distinct from all these things. So it is only an understanding. It is not actually to be discussed. It is not to be taught to somebody. Like you cannot go and tell your wife that, oh, you are only, the star. Or your son say that, you are perceptible. You cannot talk like this. They are there, and you are also there. But in our own mind, we also know that these are coming and going objects. So they will be there, they will not be there. I will be there always as consciousness. That's why I say Shushupta Jagrat Swapatascha Kinchit Swam Iva Iha Mohanam. So you have to break that word Kinchit Swam Iva Iha Mohanam. So all this here, Iha Mohanam. So all this which is seen here is, here means in all the three states of experience, right? So Mohanam in delusion, or very attractive. It looks very, tempting, but it is not the correct view. And they do not belong to me. Name asti. Then swataha cha tesham parataha. See the word swatascha tesham parato api asatva. So paratopyasatva, you must break it into swatascha swataha cha. Swataha cha tesham parataha api asatva. So you have to break the big compound word into like this. Swataha cha tesham parataha api asatva. Therefore, themselves, by self itself, they do not have, see, tesham means those, parataha api asatva. So they are actually all asatvam. They do not have existence of their own. They all depend upon this consciousness, chaitanyam, for their existence. So waking state itself cannot exist without consciousness. Dream also cannot come without consciousness. Deep sleep also is cannot exist without consciousness. So chaitanyam is the only truth, and these things are dependent on the consciousness. They do not have any existence outside of consciousness. That's why swataha means self. Tesham parataha api asatva. So they are all asatvam as compared to the parataha. Parata means what? The truth, self. Then turiyam eva asmi. So turiyam eva asmi means I am the only truth. It is called turiyam eva asmi. Sada means always. And drig means the seer. I am the ultimate seer. So there are three seers in Drigdishveka. Right? Seer number 1, seer number 2, seer number 3. Right? So seer number 3, the first seer is the eyes, correct? Which is the one which goes and sees the objects, eyes, ears, etc. All the karma indriyas, jnana indriyas, they are the one which goes and sees. They are seer number 1. The mind is seer number 2. The mind is the one which is giving existence to the karma indriya, jnana indriyas, correct? So the mind is seer number 2. But the mind itself is illumined by Chaitanyam or the consciousness, which is ultimate seer. So there is no other seer other than the consciousness. So the same philosophy is also said here that they swataha cha tesham parataha api asatva. So therefore all these three states of experience are asatyam. Very difficult. How is this possible? See, waking state itself we are saying, that is asatvam. Difficult to accept how it is possible. It is cognitive. Physically, you cannot do anything. Just like when you say the wave and the ocean and the water, they are three different names. The wave's existence, wave, when you say, it has its existence in the ocean. Without the ocean, there is nothing called wave, correct? So ocean is also another name. Wave also is another name. So the same thing. But ocean cannot exist independently without the water being there. So there is no term called ocean when there's no water. If there's no water there, what will you call? You can't call it ocean. You have to call something else. Right? So the ocean itself loses existence without the water being there. The waves also lose existence without ocean being there. Thereby, these two things do not have existence of their own. They operate or they depend on this water for existence. Therefore, water is Satyam and ocean is Mithya. Right? Same thing said here also. And he has extended to one more state called, you can add, the foam also. See, the waves, the phenaha, phenom means the waves, the ocean, the frothing white color which comes. So you see the frothing color, then you see the waves, then you see the ocean, then you see the water, or you suppose see the water. Same thing here also, the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. They're all the three states of experience are not the truth because those three things do not exist outside of consciousness, just as the foam, the wave, and the ocean do not exist outside of the water. Example also, gold also, gold, the ornament, etc. Whatever, the ornament, the form, the design, nama, rupa, karma, all of them do not have existence outside of the gold. Gold is Satyam. Without the gold being there cannot be something called ornament. There cannot be something called design or anything, and name also. Rupa is not possible. Function also is not possible. You cannot say I am wearing gold. Like a gold bar, you cannot wear it. It will be very heavy. So the gold bar comes into existence. It lends existence to the ornament. It lends existence to the name. It lends existence to the form. Right? The function also. Same way, here also the Atma or the Turiyam, which is described here, lends existence in the waking state to the dream state, the deep sleep state, without it getting affected. That's why Sadha, always. And Drig, so Drig means the ultimate seer. Advayaha, Advayam, when they say the non-dual seer. So if you got, you know, so the fourth state, Turiyam, is just a name. It is really not a state of experience. You cannot call Turiyam as experience. Turiyam should be defined as Sakshi. You should be saying that I am the Sakshi which is present in all three states of experience. And I am distinct from this three states of experience. That's what I should say. Okay. So the next, so this is clear to you, this verse? Okay. So the next few verses, they are actually for Mananam. They are for, you can also use a Nidhyastam also, and also you can use a Mananam also. I'm trying to see how to break this one. So, Sharira Buddhi Indriya Sukham Santati. Sharira Buddhi Indriya Yadu Santati. Name na chaham mama nirvikarataha. Name na chaham mama nirvikarataha. Asatvahetoscha tataiva santatare. Asatvahetoscha tataiva santatare. Tvamasya swapato hi drishyavat. So, this is a difficult, very compound word. I'll try to break it. So, first is Shariram. Sharira Buddhi Indriya Dukkha Santati. So, the word Sharira Buddhi Indriya Dukkha Santatir. Name na chaham mama nirvikarataha. Okay. So, Shariram, you know, body. Buddhi, we already know, intellect. Indriyam, sensory organs. Dukkham Santati means what? All these three, Dukkham. Santati means what? Lineage. So, it has got a lineage of sorrow. If you got a body, you'll have sorrow, correct? Because body will age one day, body will ache, tala will ache, kaal will ache. Sometimes will not be fit. Buddhi, sometimes will work, sometimes will not work. And the capacity to remember also deteriorates as you go age also. There was a time when you could remember so many things. Now, despite studying many things, you forget. So you have to keep on studying many times to do this. It is because it is subject to decline, and sometimes we feel sorry or very bad about it, that I'm not able to recollect anything. I don't know who you are. I think I've seen you before, but I don't recollect anything. Or somebody will tell you, yes, I met you there. Sorry, I don't remember anything. Because it is subject to decline, apikshate. That's why Sharira Buddhi Indriyam. So Indriyam means senses and sense organs. So all the Bahya Indriyam and Antara Indriyam, they are also subject to decline. They're subject to change. They actually also go down ultimately. And whenever these don't function properly, it brings sorrow. Right? That's why it says here, Dukkham. Dukkham means what? It brings you sorrow, brings you pain. Santati, when you say, it is a lineage. So it is not something which is something only for this Janma. It is a lineage, parampara, which has been there for many years. So as long as we have a physical body, as long as we think we have an intellect, as long as we think we have the senses, sensory organs, will always be subject to sorrow. So this is Bhagavad Gita also same thing says here, correct? So, but name nacha aham. So, but these don't belong to me. Name nacha aham means, so name means they do not belong to me. That means these shariram, buddhi, indriya, etc., they don't belong to me. And Nacha aham. See the word two words are name and nacha aham. So name indicates they do not belong to me. Nacha aham means what? They are not me. Okay. So they do not belong to me. They are neither me. So neither they are present in me, neither they are me. That's what it says here. So there is no connection between them and me, and I am also not them, because the connection is not there. Therefore, I am free from all these three things. So if the buddhi doesn't work, it is subject to, because it is subject to the prakriti. The prakriti is a product of the matter, and matter is supposed to decline. And one must not be feeling worried about if the buddhi works or doesn't work. The body is able to do work or not work, one must not be feeling very sad about it, because it is subject to this. Whatever is possible, one has to do, and accept the fact that one day I will become old. I will not be able to do all these things what I want to do. Neither will have the energy to do this, and it is the dukkham which is coming to that. It is not me. That's why he says here, name, nacha aham. Then mama nirvikarataha. So mama means I am. Nirvikaram. Akara means form or modification. Nirvikaram means what? Any modification which is happening there. So the body undergoes change, modification. Correct. Mind undergoes modification. Indriyas undergo modification. Correct. So tomorrow, we'll have teeth, we will not have teeth. We'll have hair, we will not have hair. We can see, we cannot see. We cannot hear. And we become thin, we become big, we put on weight, we have diabetic, we have sugar, we have so many things are there. They are all subject to the body. They all belong to this panchabhutaha, correct? So shariram, then buddhi, intellect also can change. Right? Power of reasoning can change. It can decline. So he says they are subject to modifications. They come and go, they increase or decrease. I am not worried about that, because I am actually not subject to this. Why? Name nacha aham. Two things. Name nacha aham. So they do not belong to me, and they are not me also. Because I am disconnected from those things in terms of absolute reality. These things do not really bother me, in fact. So a person remains happy irrespective of what happens to the person. I mean, the person will feel pain. See, physical body pains means you cannot say, oh, I am Atma, I should not feel pain. No. Atma is something in which the pain is seen, correct? But the pain is seen as not belong to the Atma, the consciousness. The pain is seen as belong to the body, Shariram, right? So Shariram itself goes through body, and we cannot do anything about it. You just have to bear it, and it becomes, you are able to control it, you are able to manage it better. Right? Instead of getting too much worried about it. That's what it says here. Mama nirvikarataha. So I am actually free from all modifications. Then asatva hetocha tataiva santathe. So asatva hetoho cha tataiva santate asatvamasya swapatohi drishyavat. So asatvam hetoho. See, asatvam means what? Because they are not the truth, unreal, right? Therefore, they are also unreal. Tataiva santate. Santate means the lineage which is there also is not the truth. See, santati, we saw lineage of sorrow. So now we are saying that what is asatvam also. See, the sorrow also is asatvam. Lineage also is asatvam. It is not going to continue forever. There will be pain, there will be pleasure. There will be pleasure, there will be pain. Dukkam, sukkam will come and go. It is not going to be that you are going to suffer always dukkam only. There will come sukkam. It lasts for some time. Again, dukkam will come. So this is subject to change is asatvam. Therefore, asatvamasya swapato hi drishyavat. Just as in the dream state, see, in the dream state, you see all those things which are seeming real. Like if you really have a very, intense dream, like some people have an intense dream. I also have a dream. It's not that. Sometimes when you're really not working very hard, or you have slept in the afternoon, supposing tappi thavari thungital madhyana kada kandal ratri avladhaan onu panna mudiyadhu. If you happen to sleep in the afternoon for 1 hour or 2 hours, then you will end up in bed rolling here and there. All sorts of things will come to you. There will be no connection between what you are undergoing and what is experiencing. It is possible that whatever is your intense prayer or intense, thought, which you have been having for many, many months, years, or for the day, will come in some flashing form. Something will come. Say if you're watching a Discovery Channel, and you are watching, some lion chasing some cheetah, some deer, etc. And you've seen the movie for many times. Right? So when you go to sleep, night will also the same. It will come like a movie to you. So the lion will be chasing there, and you will also be, watching the movie there, and you will be saying, "Oh my God, what happened?" But in really speaking, you are not doing anything. You are not affected by the dream. There is no lion, there is no deer, there is no killing. Neither you are in the forest. You are pretty much there as it is without knowing who you are. So it is a projection, it is a dream. So in the dream, how is projected, the same way this whole life is also a projection. The whole activity which is present in waking state, dream state, and deep sleep state is a projection. It is not satyam. That's why it says here, asatvamasyaha swapato hi drishyavat. Just as drishyavat means just as what is seen in the dream is as good as asatyam. So I am the drashta and everything else is drishyam. So drashta never changes, drishyam keeps changing. The person in the waking state never changes. The dream state, the person never changes. Deep sleep state, the person doesn't change. But the objects which are seen in the waking state change. Objects which are experiencing in dream state change. And there are no objects to experience also in deep sleep state. But I as consciousness, I as a seer and knower, I do not change. I'm always there. So that is the essence of this, right? This is an example, one of the, this like you have a eligible, son or daughter for marriage, let's say, and you are very worried about எப்படியாவது இந்த பொண்ணுக்கு ஒரு நல்ல வரனை பார்க்கணும், கல்யாணம் பண்ணிட்டு பிடிச்சிடணும். And this has been your number one worry for many months and years, and you are in search. So wherever you go, you ask, or don't ask anybody. You say like, I'm looking for a good, alliance for my daughter or my son. If you know someone to tell me, and they ask you all the questions, etc., and then you are searching for it, and somehow in your dream you find a match. Suppose you find that you are actually getting married to somebody, or your son is getting married. This marriage also is performed. So everything is there. There's akshata being done there, and you are very happy about it. Next day morning when you wake up, there is nobody there. Same problems are existing. Again, the search starts. Right? So same thing is here, that whatever you experience today, you will not experience the same thing tomorrow. It will be a different story altogether. It will not be what you see today. So it is like a drishyam. It is a scene. So asatyam. So it is actually not the truth. So one must not be dwelling upon what is asatyam. One must be practical and just live in the present. Correct? That's what it says here. Entire dukkha, dukkam shantihi, when you say here, santati, is the lineage, means the entire, the tradition of this is very, very common. It is not something new. So Shariram Buddhi Indriya Dukkha Santati Name Nacha Aham Mama Nirvikarataha Tathaiva Santate Asatva Hetoho Cha Asatvamasyaha Swapatohi Drishyavate. So you got that right? So this is actually for Maranam. See, as I told you, this particular chapter, before he goes to the next topic, he summarizes all those things which you have learned before in other Upanishads, the extract, and for Maranam and Nididhyastam. So the sadhaka or the person who is there makes a habitual error. See, Nididhyastam is a place where you correct your habitual errors. You do not make mistake every day. Sometimes you mistake, sometimes maybe if you always make a mistake, then Maranam is important. If you sometimes make a mistake in judgment or in if your error is judgment is clouded, then this Nididhyasana, this particular remembrance of the same thing helps you to correct the vision. So that is what is said here. So some people will use it for Maranam, some people use it for Nididhyasana depending upon the level of maturity a person has achieved. Somebody who's already understood all the Vedanta Tattvam, etc. This is used for Nididhyasana to correct the habitual errors. Someone who is not yet gone to the level of Nididhyasana, still in Shravanam and in Maranam stage, this can also be used for Maranam. That means to correct what has been learned before. So if at all we have learned before, oh, I don't know what Manaha means, what Buddhi means, what is Karana Shariram, what is Sukshma Shariram, what is Sthula Shariram, who is Vishwa, who is Tejasa, who is Pragyaha, who are the three seers, what is Drig, what is Drishyam, what is Advayam, all these things which are not clear about it, those things are being brought again here for remembrance. So you recollect and then you revisit the topics again so that you are with the topic again and again. That's what it says here. So we look at this last one for now, number 6. I'll explain this number 6 in the next class because it needs a little bit of elaboration on this one. So the question is raised. Basically, there's a question raised. That the body, in the Bhashyam says, the body, mind, sense, organs. That means the Shariram, Buddhi, Indriya, etc. are Mithya because they are Drishya. This is accepted by the Purva Paksha. So Atma is Shuddham and Nirvikaraha. Right? So Shuddhatvam and Nirvikaratvam would then be gunas of the Atma. Shuddhatvam and Nirgunatvam or Nirvikaratvam are the guna of the Atma. So this is the Purva Paksha's answer question. So Shuddham means what? We say Shuddha means pure, pure consciousness. So when you say pure consciousness, the purity is actually an attribute of consciousness. This is what he's saying. And Nirvikaratvam, when you say, that means without modification, is also an attribute of Atma. Correct? Then, so anything which you say with attributes is Mithya, then Atma also is Mithya. See this. You'll get this argument. Somebody will come and talk to you and say, oh, so you are saying that Atma is Nirvishesha. So Nirvishesha is actually what? No Vishaya. So it is an attribute. And you say Nirgunatvam. This is also an attribute. So attributeless, when you say Atma, then all attributes which are associated with an object of knowledge is Mithya. Correct? We understand this. Now the Purva Paksha is sitting there, somebody who is very intelligent, thinking they're intelligent, they put a question to you, saying that, so Atma you say is Nirvikaratvam, Atma you say is Shuddham. That means Shuddham and Nirvikaratvam, these are the attributes of the Atma. Therefore, Atma is also subject to Mithya. So Atma is Mithya. How can I explain this? This is what how things. So the next verse says this is not the case. So the Purva Paksha is sitting there. See, we always have this Purva Paksha is Adi Shankara's imagination. That means it is actually our own doubt he places in that we may have this idea. See, Atma is Nirvikaratvam. Atma is, so I'll tell you, Asangaha, Advayam, Agrahyam, Apanipadam, Agotram, Avarnam, Achakshuhu, all these I say. So all this when you say, they are all attributes of the Atma. So Atma is known by these names. And we say Nama Rupa Karma iti Jagat. So Nama also is Mithya. Karma also is Mithya. So attributes also is Mithya. So Atma also is Mithya. Logical question. Right? But all what we are saying, that Atma is free from all these things. They are only characteristic Lakshanam given. So Vachyartha, Lakshartha is free. They are different. Right? So Lakshanam is given just for understanding only, not for taking it as face value. But a person who is not exposed to Shastram, who doesn't believe in Shastram, he has read here and there and listened a few things in YouTube or some lectures here and there. And he suddenly wakes up and says that, oh, no, this is what I feel I read in some books here. This is what it means. So I don't accept the view that Atma is actually Satyam. Atma is Mithya. Therefore, it says here, Idham tu Satyam mama nasti vikriya. Idham tu Satyam mama nasti vikriya. Vikara hetur nahi me advayatvataha. Vikara hetur nahi me advayatvataha. Na punya pape na cha moksha bandhane. Na punya pape na moksha bandhane. Na chasti varna shramata asharirataha. Na chasti varna shramata sharirataha. So he gives idam tu satyam. See, this is the truth. I'll explain this next class more. I'll just give you a summary. So idam tu satyam mama na asti vikriyaha. That means these modifications or these attributes you're talking about, it does not belong to the Atma. And indeed, there is vikara hetur nahi me advaitaha. So it means advayam. These modifications are not part of me, they do not belong to me. These are only names which are attributed to the Atma. Names are actually not the Atma, correct? They're only manifestation of the same knowledge. Correct? Therefore, I am free from na punya papam. I don't have a sins or papam. I don't have something called moksham or bandhanam. See, Atma is not moksha. Atma does not have anything called moksham. The jiva thinks that one has to, jiva thinks that I have to become moksha, I have to attain moksham. Atma says, I am always free. I do not need to attain any moksham, nor I am bound. So, na moksha bandhane, na cha asti varnashramataha. So, I do not also have varnashrama. I am neither Brahmana, neither Shudra, nor Vaishya, or any varnashrama. So, I do not have any particular varnashrama also, and I do not have asharidataha. I don't have any shariram also. I don't have karana shariram, I don't have stula shariram, I don't have sukshma shariram. So, I don't have any shariram, I don't have any varnashrama, I don't have any punyam and papam. I am free from all vikaram. So, whatever you are saying is only a name, and these don't belong to me. So, he explains this in the next, I'll explain next class to you with more explanation about what it is saying here. Because there is a Purva Paksha was putting a question there. So, this question is to be addressed properly. So far, is it clear to you, this class? See, now we are actually revisiting. So, especially you're studying Upanishad and other topics, so it is like it's easy. So that's why this particular topic is actually a summary, a saramsha of the Upanishad. So it talks about various texts. That's why it's very big. So it talks about, one prakaranam. So prakaranam means what? One topic is taken. One topic is discussed, elaborate. Then it goes to next topic, discuss. So by the time you have studied all of them, Upanishad's teaching will be very seamless and easy. You will be able to read Bhashyam, you will be able to understand very clearly what is being talked about. Okay. So we'll see the next verse, which is verse number 6, the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Namaste. Tomorrow we have the Bhagavad Gita class. We will continue with that's 1:45. Okay. Harihi Om.
Pranam. Thank you.